नमस्कार, मैं हूं दिबांजलि मोइत्रा। भारतीय विदेश मंत्री एस जयशंकर ने एक ऐसा इंटरव्यू दिया जिसको लेकर बवाल हो गया। पहले जयशंकर की चीन और कांग्रेस पर दी गई टिप्पणी पर बवाल मचा, जिसमें कहा गया है कि हम चीन से नहीं डरते हैं, और इस खबर को हमने एक दिन पहले आपको बताया था। अब उसी इंटरव्यू का एक और हिस्सा वायरल हो रहा है, जिसमें पाकिस्तान के दिवालिया होने और फिर भारत की मदद पर चर्चा है, और उसी को लेकर बयान वायरल हो रहा है। पहले आप विदेश मंत्री जयशंकर की बात सुनिए।
Here is a nuclear nation which is on the verge of an economic collapse.
You know what the sentiment in this country is about Pakistan?
Go to Pakistan, and there's a number of people who are now expressing serious concern that here is a nuclear nation which is on the verge of an economic collapse. If that happens, it's in our neighborhood. Are we ready? The influx of people who might come into our country, how do we deal with this situation where this country could collapse?
No, I think, Pakistan's future is largely determined by Pakistan's actions and by Pakistan's choices. I mean, nobody reaches a difficult situation sort of suddenly and without cause. So it is for them to find a way out. Our relationship today is not one, where we can be relevant directly to that process. If I were to, for example, compare it to Sri Lanka, I would say it's a very different relationship. With Sri Lanka, still there is a lot of goodwill in this country. There's naturally a neighbor's concerns and worry, but there's also a feeling, look, we have to help them to get through this. Tomorrow, if something happens to some other neighbor, that would be the case as well. But what the sentiment in this country is about Pakistan.
तो सुना आपने क्या कह रहे हैं जयशंकर साहब? अगर नहीं समझे तो एक बार फिर हम समझाते हैं। जब ANI की स्मिता प्रकाश ने सवाल किया कि अगर पाकिस्तान दिवालिया हो जाता है तो क्या भारत मदद करेगा, इस पर जयशंकर ने दो टूक कहा कि पाकिस्तान का भविष्य काफी हद तक उसके अपने कार्यों और विकल्पों से निर्धारित हुआ है। जयशंकर ने आगे कहा कि ये पड़ोसी देश को सोचना है कि वो अपनी आर्थिक परेशानी से बाहर निकले या नहीं। उन्होंने श्रीलंका से पाकिस्तान की तुलना को भी खारिज करते हुए कहा कि दोनों देशों के साथ भारत के संबंध अलग हैं। पाकिस्तान इन दिनों गंभीर आर्थिक संकट का सामना कर रहा है। हालात इतने बुरे हैं कि पाकिस्तान को $1.1 मिलियन की मदद के लिए अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मुद्रा कोष के हाथ पांव जोड़ने पड़ रहे हैं। अगर पाकिस्तान को जल्द ही आर्थिक सहायता नहीं मिली तो उसके सामने डिफॉल्ट होने का संकट खड़ा हो जाएगा। जयशंकर ने आगे श्रीलंका के आर्थिक संकट के दौरान भारत की सहायता का जिक्र भी किया। श्रीलंका के साथ भारत के संबंध बहुत ही अलग हैं। मुझे लगता है कि पाकिस्तान का भविष्य काफी हद तक पाकिस्तान के कार्यों और पाकिस्तान की पसंद से निर्धारित होता है। कोई भी व्यक्ति अचानक और अकारण किसी कठिन परिस्थिति में नहीं पहुंचता। ये उनके लिए है कि वे कोई रास्ता निकालें। आज हमारा संबंध ऐसा नहीं है जहां हम उस प्रक्रिया के लिए सीधे तौर पर प्रासंगिक हो सके। तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि कैसे श्रीलंका की तुलना पाकिस्तान से करने पर भड़के जयशंकर ने सवाल का जवाब दिया। उन्होंने और क्या कुछ कहा, हम यहाँ पर आपको सुनाते हैं।
Yes and no, because
it's a socialist hub.
No. I also had a lot of home education. Okay. Say JNU was different. I was 18 when I went to JNU. Okay. And JNU was very, very firmly leftist at that time. And I think everything, at 18, what you intuitively believe is either formed by your friends and acquaintances or what is reflective of your home. And definitely in our home, my father, who was a very strong influence on us, was very distrustful of ideologies and people who he believed were not, who did not have the loyalties in our own country.
Such as?
Well, you look, you're not talking, remember, he had his own views about what was happening in the 40s and 50s at that time, who was for the national movement, where did different people, how did they switch? Remember at that time, China, there was a big China issue.
Revolution.
I mean, we are.
You're talking the war and things.
No. War,
or the revolution.
War.
Okay.
Yeah. So he particularly, I think, he was very, very distrustful of the left. you know. So of the communist left. Huh? And I think some of it, so in a sense we grew up very unspokenly but very strongly as very patriotic children, you might say. You know, we kind of went to these military institutions. I went to Air Force School, to King George's Bangalore Military School. My siblings went to, some of them went to Naval School, to Sardar Patel Vidyalaya. So I think that was the kind of mindset I took into JNU. So in fact in JNU, which was a dominantly leftist outlook, where the teachers, the students, the administration, everybody was very leftist, my lot of people, my cohort were the first set of people who actually politically took on the left.
Okay.
And actually we had a meeting, we had an election even where the then Prakash Karat was the SFI candidate. He won one election, he lost one election. So I
Where did you stand in that?
Oh, I was very clearly with what was called the free thinkers.
Free thinkers.
Yeah, free thinkers was a assortment, because other than the left there was no other political.
And there was no tukre in those days.
No, all that came very much later. So I would say that sense of nationalism, connection to country, this was kind of instilled in us. On the cultural question, it was very interesting. You know, when I did my book, I have a chapter on the Mahabharata in the book. And one of the Delhi journalists asked me this question, said, you know, I find that a very surprising. I said, yeah, partly because maybe you don't know me that well. But we learned, all of us, I'm talking my siblings as well, we read Mahabharata very early. In fact, very often it was the subject of discussion in our house of, and we approached, a lot of it was approached as strategy, as, in a sense, what our own epics. And by the way, we were a very, I would say, cosmopolitan household. It wasn't, the same father also gave us Iliad and Odyssey and other things as well.
Okay. So you had Homer on one side and you had the Mahabharata on the other side.
And a lot of things in between.
And a lot of things.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm sure you had Plato and Aristotle too.
I'm a political science student.
Yes.
I actually studied those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to come to this whole thing about the sensitivity issue. Do you feel that, because many say that ban this.